The Core XR6 has a 4-point bridle with 3 pulleys. The steering lines are directly connected to the tip and there are 3 different ways of adjusting the bar pressure and steering speed to your own liking. At the end of the front tube and the 2 outer struts of the 5-strut model there are line deflectors. For the inflate and deflate ventilation there are the already familiar big inlet and outlet valves. The plastic bottle that is needed for the deflation is hanging in a neoprene bag in the middle of the middle strut. The front tube material is reinforced with a ripstop dagron, locked with a welted seam, doubled from the inside and saw together. As a flight canopy, a triple ripstop material is used. The minimal curvature in the tip geometry with the Xr6 compared to its predecessor has changed minimally. The flight cloth has altogether been pulled in up to the tips and the trailing edge is decorated with a cloth doubling. The cross struts are each with a single thread connected to the flight cloth and doubled from the inside. Impact and chafe markings are reinforced with rubberized fabric. And the transition of the front tube to the flight cloth is decorated with a cloth doubling. Thanks to a rather very light and fast adjacent current and a good and even feature, the Xr6 is capable of excellent steering capabilities. He pulls far to the wind window and cleanly keeps his flow, so that his upwind behavior can be described as very good. Even though the Xr6 bridle has 3 pulleys, we have a direct and precise bar feel. At any time you can very nicely judge the position of the kite in any challenge. Even while foiling with a little less line tension, the kite still responds very well, and all that with low or medium bar forces. Comfortable are the basic features of the Xr6, high and uniform, as mentioned at the beginning. This feature goes for all wind conditions and is responsible that the kite is never bothersome. Likewise, the power development of the kite is even with a very light progression that because of that is very predictable. Dependent on how, for example, the steering pulse is applied or how the kite was positioned beforehand, you can often dispense your power properly. All that leaves a very harmonious image behind. The whole flight image, by its speed and radiuses, is in the middle range. With that the flight behavior is round. Only maximum stirring, a small pivoting is noticeable. The tiny change in the tip geometry has harmonized the tip stability by a small amount in all the positions of the wind window. This point makes the performance of the kite just a tiny bit better in comparison to his predecessor. And the deep power capabilities are as expected with a Freeride high-performance kite, very good. Excessive pressure can be effectively reduced and even windy situations are easily controlled. The release of the core chicken loops is 9 kg under a load of 120 kg. With this you have to take into account that you have to turn this system and not push it away. After that follows a drop into a mix of a single front line and a double front line. One is pulled in conjunction and one only partially, so that it should come to an even drop, what in reality can't always be achieved. Like that, the reconstruction of the turning mechanism is partially complicated only when the metal rod that is lead through the pipe hangs down. You can do it fast and quickly. However, the launching with the Xr6 while pulling and holding the steering line is possible and easy. When you jump hook, the Xr6 offers a strong and constant lift. He is considered, in comparison to the other contestants, as one of the best you can buy in this range. With that, it is noticeable that you don't have to posse the best available technology to achieve good jumping performance. The hang time is also long-lasting, and friends of old-school tricks will definitely love this kite. Very nice about it is that the control over the whole wind range, also in the highest wind region, is easy to achieve. He can satisfy from the lowest to the highest wind region. Even with unhooked jumps, there is enough power, at all times, to get a sufficiently good altitude for all the desired tricks. Here the kite structure is strong enough, despite the 3 pulleys and a higher aspect, so that the performance doesn't disappear. Especially while foiling with the 9 square meters Xr6, you can feel the minimal change in geometry of the tips, so that the cap is even more homogeneously suspended. The flow is even more uniform at all positions of the wind window. This essentially affects the flight stability during foiling. Otherwise, this cap in this area can persuade us by its good standing in the wind window and of being able to achieve a high deep power. The kite turns cleanly through the kite loops in a narrow to medium radius. During this process, medium powers are released. The already well-balanced flow and the fast ascent definitely qualify the cap to be recommended for kite loop beginners. But even in very high wind conditions, the kite can withstand the pressure and can deliver a high-level performance for the professionals. This also means that in this area, the Xr6 does not deform so much, and it can't come to flow problems on the kite. And that is a very important point, when it comes to the security of kite loops. Others would say, yes, great, but I already knew everything from the predecessor, the Xr5, who also had great benefits in all these areas. Yes, that's true, and in the positive basic performance nothing has changed. The difference is made by the harmonization of the total flow of the kite. As I said previously, a minimal change in the tip geometry was made, so that the kite, at a variety of places, in the wind window experiences a more even flow, therefore improving the handling and delivering of the performance. The Xr6 takes the same position compared to its competitors in terms of field of application. It's simply about a substantial homogeneous Freeride high-performance kite which provides the jump performance as easy as possible and covers a wide range of properties without having any intricate features to get used to, because the Xr6 does not have those.
Check.